I'm talking today about connecting generously as a behaviour, and it's really great to have the opportunity to reflect a bit on this. I'm sorry I'm not here in person to do that with all of you. But when I think about connecting generously, I'm thinking often about how you bring people with you in the work that you're doing, how you build teams in ways that really thrive, how you delegate great work to people, things like that. And I could probably spend 7 minutes talking about those things, but I suspect that actually some of those themes have been covered in the other talk. So instead I want to take a slightly different tack on what it means to connect generously. And I want to spend my time today talking about what it means to look beyond your organisation, to connect with the abundance that exists beyond that organisation in order to achieve your goals and your mission, what you're trying to do. I think that ability to connect generously really depends on how we talk about our work and how we see our work. So often as charities and nonprofits, we're asked to talk about our work in relation to the services we provide, the inputs, the outputs we offer, our expenditure, all these tangible things that we do. And actually, you know, it's something that funders and commissioners often ask us to talk about as if that's the sum total of our work. But I think there's another way of looking at what we do, and that is about looking at our work in relation to our dream, our mission, the dream that animates why we're here in the first place, that gets us up in the morning, that makes us keep going. And those dreams are often much bigger than our organisation's work alone. They are dreams that we can't possibly reach as our organisation on our own. It requires us working with other people, getting alongside each other, amplifying each other's work, doing more together, advancing together towards that dream. So I think it probably would help to bring this to life if I talked a bit in more practical terms about what this means. So I thought actually what I do today is spend a little bit of time talking about how I bring this to life in my work at Little Village. Little Village is a charity I founded back in 2016. Our dream is that every child has the best possible start in life and that we end child poverty. I thought I could talk about how I have talked about our work in the past to illustrate this point about what it means to connect generously. So one way I could talk about Little Village's work is as a service provider. We do provide a service in one way, I guess. We give families who are struggling essential baby clothes and toys and kit for when their children arrive, and we make sure that all of that stuff is donated by the other members of the local community, and we get that stuff out to families that need it the most. So you could talk about our work as providing a service to those families who need it. Equally, you could present our work as a service to local councils. We're helping councils look after the families in their areas that are the most vulnerable. But do I think that talking about our work in these terms would have meant that we could have made the difference we've made in the last 5 years? I'm really not sure that it would have had the same impact. We've supported over 12,000 children. We've mobilised over 1,000 volunteers, all on a shoestring budget and a tiny staff team. And I don't think we've done that because we've talked about our work as a service. I think one of the issues with talking about our work in that way is it sort of creates it creates a very firm line between our organisation and the outer world. It creates a line which talks about, you know, us as professionals delivering a service to users and beneficiaries, and really there is no invitation there. People need to come and knock on the door of our organisation if they want to be involved. So I don't think that's a way of connecting generously. So instead, there are two other ways I talk about my work, which I think does then open the invitation out and bring people into your work in a much more powerful way. So the first way that I talk about Little Village's work is I talk about us providing the infrastructure to enable families to help one another, to make it as easy as possible for families to support one another. Now, I hope you can see that immediately that shifts the balance of power. Immediately, Little Village is in service to those families who want to support one another. Immediately, the focus goes from asking people to come and give us free labour as a volunteer to how are we helping people achieve their desire of supporting other families in the local community who are struggling. So it puts the centre of the attention not on us as an organisation, but on our volunteers and how we can build and grow their contribution, how we can enable them to achieve something that they care about, which is helping other families in the community. So that's one way I talk about the work. Second way I talk about the work is to say that Little Village is a movement of people against poverty. And this is so important for all sorts of reasons. I mean, not least, it situates our work in the change we want to see in the world rather than just what we do. And that's really important because it keeps us honest. It keeps us thinking about how our day-to-day activities actually advancing us towards that ambition of a world without poverty. And, to what extent are we actually changing the system, or to what extent are we in danger of propping up a very broken system in which poverty is continuing to grow? But the other reason that that's really important is by talking about us as a movement of people against poverty, it's an invitation again to people to say, come and join that movement. If you share that sense of it not being right, that 4.2 million children are growing up in poverty, come and join us, come and get involved. And we've got loads of ways of doing that. And I think that's so important because it also means that there's real meaning to the work that people do with us. So when you have a volunteer who comes in, on a cold Tuesday night and spends 2 hours sorting and organising clothes and packing them up, she will know why she's doing that. She's not doing that because she feels like she should. She's doing it because she thinks it's wrong that there are children growing up poor in one of the wealthiest cities in the world. And this is her contribution towards it. So again, it's about really connecting with people at that level of purpose and values. It also means when we talk about our work as a movement against poverty, that it's second nature for us to connect with other organisations who also share that ambition. And I think that's so important in a world where, there is rising poverty. We definitely will not be able to solve that alone. So we have to advance together and really think about how is our work supporting, amplifying, being additive to all the other amazing work out there, all of the other, the child poverty campaigning charities, the food banks, the baby banks, the other family charities. We need to advance together to achieve that shared mission. So to conclude, 3 things I want to leave you with. Live big, not small. Look outward, not inward, and really connect with people around mission rather than asking people to come to your organisation. Go out and say, how can we help you achieve your goal, your belief, your purpose? Thank you very much. I hope you've really enjoyed the rest of the sessions, and I'm looking forward to watching them all in recording as well.